Today we will study about the hypoglossal nerve. So this is divided into two parts, hypoglossal nucleus and the hypoglossal nerve. Now first we study about the hypoglossal nucleus. Hypoglossal nucleus consisting of the motor cells, and this is present as an elongated nucleus throughout the medulla oblongata in the pyramidian plane. This is present on the both side of the median plane, and its upper part present in the hypoglossal triangle of the floor of fourth ventricle. So this hypoglossal triangle of floor of fourth ventricle, you can see this is the median sulcus, and this is the sulcus limitans. This is the median sulcus and this is the sulcus limitans, and so there is the present of the, and this is the stria medullaris. So in between stria medullaris and median sulcus and sulcus limitans there is the triangle. This is called hypoglossal triangle, and this stria, this is the sulcus, this sulcus limitans divide the lower part of the floor of fourth ventricle into vagal triangle and hypoglossal triangle. So the hypoglossal nucleus, upper part of hypoglossal nucleus is present in the hypoglossal triangle. So this is an elongated nucleus, so it has a lower part, and this lower part present on the ventral aspect of the central gray matter, ventral to the central canal, so you can see when it goes downward into the medulla oblongata, and there is the central canal, and this elongated nucleus present on the ventral side, and this elongated nucleus so gives the rootlets of so you can see in this diagram there is the hypoglossal nucleus, and this is present in this elongation in the medulla oblongata, and there is the rootlets coming out from the brain between the pyramid and this is the olive. So you can see here inferior olivary nucleus, and there in the olive present superior and inferior olivary nucleus. So these rootlets coming out on the ventrolateral aspect of the brain between the pyramid and between the olive, and these rootlets contain the general somatic efferent fibers. So these general somatic efferent fibers supply the muscles of the somatic origin. So and these muscles supplied by the hypoglossal nerve are the muscles of the tongue except palatoglossus, and the palatoglossus muscle is supplied by the perennial root of accessory nerve via vagus nerve. And so we can study, and you can see there is the multiple rootlets coming out from the ventrolateral aspect. So this is an elongated nucleus, it present both sides of the median plane. And we now study about the course of the hypoglossal nerve. And this hypoglossal nerve, you can see in this diagram there is, you can see this, when these rootlets of the hypoglossal nerve are coming out from the ventrolateral aspect of the brain between the pyramid and the olive. You can see in this diagram also there is this is the pyramid, and this is the transverse section at the medulla, and this is the pyramid, and this is the olive. So this hypoglossal nerve rootlet coming from with the fiber of general somatic efferent fibers. And next in this diagram you can see the course of the hypoglossal nerve. When these rootlets coming out from the brain, these rootlets join to form the two roots of the hypoglossal nerve. These two roots of the hypoglossal nerve enter in the hypoglossal canal. This hypoglossal canal present both sides of the foramen magnum, and so from this hypoglossal canal these rootlets join within the canal and form a single nerve. So this is after this canal, this is the form the single nerve that is called the hypoglossal nerve. and these rootlets about 10 to 15 in count, and both when the hypoglossal nerve coming out from the cranial cavity via hypoglossal nerve laterally behind the vagus and glossopharyngeal nerve, and then it goes downward between the and goes downward and forward and between the internal jugular vein and the internal carotid artery. So there is the between internal jugular vein and internal carotid artery, and finally it runs superficially to internal and external carotid artery. So it runs up forward and superficial to the internal or external carotid artery, and this is there is the loop of the lingual artery. This loop of lingual artery form above the hyoid bone. This loop and this passing from this loop, this nerve supplied to the muscles of the tongue, and we say it muscles of the tongue except palatoglossus. So there is the muscles of the tongue. This is the styloglossus muscle. This is from the styloid process to the tongue, and there is the genioglossus. So there is the genial tubercle of the mandible to the tongue, and there is supplied by and there is the C1 root of the accessory nerve which meet in this nerve, and this via through hypoglossal nerve. This supplied the thyroid and the genioid muscles via C1 component of these muscles, and so this C1 also meet with the ansa cervicalis. So this is the superior root of ansa cervicalis, and this is the inferior root of ansa cervicalis. This ansa cervicalis form here. So this hypoglossal nerve communicate with the ansa cervicalis, and this is supplied to the muscles of tongue, and the one root goes communicate with the lingual nerve. So this is the course and distribution of the hypoglossal nerve. Now we study about its clinical aspect. We study in this clinical aspect. There is the upper motor neuron lesion, and lower motor neuron lesion. In the upper motor neuron lesion, this lesion occurs before the relay of corticonucleus, and in the upper motor neuron lesion there is the opposite side weakness of tongue, and opposite side weakness of tongue. So tongue deviate on the same side which has the lesion because of the unopposed action of the same side healthy muscles. And in the lower motor neuron lesion there is the muscle loss of the same side loss. So tongue deviate to the opposite side because of the unopposed action of healthy muscles of the opposite side. Thank you.